just play a minute of this?
Sure.
Okay. Another day, another fight. It always feels like an uphill climb. Another step, another mile. Story of your life. It's harder than you ever thought. And JP's still on the line as well.
Very good.
When you're back against the wall and you feel it up. This is only a mountain. You don't have to find your way around it. Tell it to move, it'll move. Tell it to fall, it'll fall. This is only a moment. You don't have to let your fear control it. Tell it to move, it'll move. Tell it to fall, it'll fall. Gotta find a second wind. It's not as high as I think it is.
Welcome back to American Warrior Radio. You've been listening to a wonderful song. It's a cover that JP has done, and you performed it up at the inauguration, JP. What a phenomenal song. The message is incredible, and the fact that you played all the instruments for that is astounding to me. So congratulations to you. Before we finish up, though, how can folks learn more about you and support you and listen for more of your music?
I have a YouTube channel, JP Lane. I believe the picture that's on there right now is actually me in my dress blues standing on stage. But if you go to that channel, I have 3 videos there, and I'm going to be posting some soon. Right now, I'm currently working on my first CD. So.
Well, congratulations. We definitely want to have you back on and help you promote that. The song that you performed there and that we just played, Moving Mountains, is just perfect parallel to the program today, because we're going to be talking to a pararescue jumper who's going to be climbing Mount Everest. Talk about a mountain. But brother, you have climbed some serious mountains yourself, and we applaud you seriously for your service and your sacrifice and the fact that you're an overcomer. Real quick, what are your plans for the future? Now that you're going to be leaving the military, you'll have some benefits through the medical retirement programs, but are you going to continue to pursue your music and go on to educational pursuits? What's exactly your plan?
My ultimate goal is to pursue music and eventually become well-known so that I can get my testimony out there and influence people to never give up on their dreams, just like I'm not. So music is my life.
Well, that's wonderful, and we truly, again, appreciate your service and sacrifice for our country. Without outstanding young people like you protecting us back here, who knows what would happen. America is free because of efforts like you, and we wish you great success in your music career. And I marvel at your musical abilities with so many instruments. And again, thank you for your service to our country.
And JP, like you say in the song, it's only a mountain, and it's nothing you can't conquer, and you are a conqueror, brother. We'll have you back on as you put your CD together. But thanks so much for joining us today, brother.
Thank you very much, and thank you all for your support.
You bet.
You bet.
Phenomenal story there, Glenn. And this is a representative sample of who we have in our military today.
Well, now, folks, you understand why we say they're the cream of the crop, the best of the best. You don't get this from just anybody. You get this from your military out there protecting our rear ends on a daily basis.
And, you know, since we're on the subject of climbing mountains and overcoming, we have our next guest interviewer, which is none other than Staff Sergeant Nicholas Gibson with the 920th Rescue Wing based right here at Patrick Air Force Base. Sarge, can you hear me?
I sure can. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us, because I know you're a busy, busy man right now, too. Share with our listeners a little bit about yourself, like where you were born and raised and what motivated you to get into the service, because you got a tradition in your family.
I absolutely do. I was born and raised in Lakeland, Florida, but raised all over as a military brat. Both my parents are retired Air Force from my mom was a flight nurse and my dad was a flight surgeon. And so I naturally said I don't want to go in the military or medicine, either one. But life has a funny way of telling you exactly what fits you. And so I ended up, getting to college and was still going back and forth on it. And then the events of 9/11 happened, and that made up my mind pretty easily that we had a nation
So you went into you went into the Air Force. Yay!
For
Another
sure.
Air Force
That's
brother.
right. You mentioned we'd have more blue suiters on the program today, Glenn.
That's right. And you joined the Air Force, and of course you went to basic training, and then did you go directly after that into pararescue training? And if so, well, anyway, when
How'd
you
that
went
evolve?
in, how long did that take, and how tough is it?
Yeah, I absolutely did. I went. I pretty much joined to go into pararescue. That was the number one choice of what I wanted to do. Of course, there's no guarantees with that. You have to go through indoctrination course, which is a pretty grueling, extensive course designed to rule out those that might not be best suited for being a PJ. And so, made it through that course, which was one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life. We started with 80 guys, ended up graduating 13.
Wow.
Whoa.
13 out of 80?
Yeah, and everybody but 2 of those 13 passed out underwater at some point. So it's a pretty tough course, I'd say.
Well,
yeah, I'd say too.
They put you through the ringer. Where did this take place? Where's the training grounds for our PJs?
This is out at Lackland Air Force Base out of San Antonio, Texas, and that's honestly just the first phase. That was the beginning of a 2.5-year pipeline of running courses all over the country that Air Force puts on in some great training. So we were going out to dive school. At that point, we were with the Army's dive school, but we have our own Air Force dive school now in Panama City, and then you go through free fall and jump school and survival school and paramedic course, and then on to what we call the apprentice course, which teaches you the basic PJ skills.
Okay, so let's, for the benefit of our audience and those that don't know what a PJ is, tell us a little bit about what your job responsibilities are. It's kind of hinted at with your training, but what do our, and you guys, again, like Glenn says, you're the cream of the crop. You are the guys, and it is just guys. There are no women in the pararescue jump squadron, are there?
No, that's correct. It's only men.
Okay, and because that's been a topic in the news lately, that women can do all the type of jobs, particularly these extremely dangerous jobs like a pararescueman. But you're the guys that go in and rescue our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines that are injured or wounded and bring them back out, right?
That's correct. We specialize in combat search and rescue and recovery in austere and non-permissive environments. So our whole premise is that we want to be able to go in and provide medical care no matter what's going on, whether it's a firefight, whether it's RPGs, or whatever the circumstances, aircraft that's gone down in the mountains, or out at sea. If somebody is sick or injured on a boat in the middle of the Pacific, anywhere that anybody can get hurt or injured, we are essentially trained and designed to be able to go and get them, provide life-saving medical treatment, and get them out of there.
Well, that is truly amazing, and I know I've had unfortunately a couple of clients in my office from your unit out there who are retired that were suffered some severe injuries in some cases.
You guys get beat up doing your job.
Yeah, from doing that job. So I know it's very dangerous, to say the least. And boy, that training regime, and folks that are listening out there, that's just each person goes through this training, about a 3-year regime, and look at all the special skills that they have to acquire. And of course, the troops that are the recipients of your care when they need it are most grateful, and we're certainly most grateful that you guys are around.
Well, to be truthful, I mean it's a blessing to be involved in such an organization, and we consider ourselves the lucky ones because we have, I believe, quite possibly the purest mission in the military, where it doesn't matter anything else that's going on around us or what the circumstances or politics. We simply have to go in and rescue somebody and pull them out, and so in that way we're very lucky. It's something I think we all have ingrained in our hearts, and it's something that we are very honored to do. It's an honored tradition with pararescue dating back to the Vietnam days, where guys were jumping out in the canopies and lowering down on helicopters and Pitts and Barger, carrying ammunition to troops that were pinned down. And so we just want to carry on that tradition.
No kidding. That others may live. That's your slogan, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Well, I'm looking over some of the information from Air Force Print News today because there's a wonderful story, recent story from February 22nd, and it discusses some of the qualifications you have to do your job. Everything from scuba diving, like you said, skydiving, and all of your medical training. You went to college, did your undergrad, and now you're in a graduate program. What's that about? Share with our listeners.
Well, I'm in a physician assistant program up at Emory University in Atlanta, and it's a master's program, and it's actually the physician assistant history comes from corpsmen who came out of Vietnam and didn't have an equivalency of skill set in the civilian side, so they created the physician assistant, which is a mid-level provider, and it works out perfectly for guys like me who say want to stay part-time and still stay active in the PJ community, but yet can go and practice medicine if that becomes what your main focus and love of is in your skill set. And so we learn essentially, it's a 28-month program, and we learn essentially everything we need to practice and treat patients, interpret films, and prescribe medicines. We can prescribe in all states, and we act as an extender of that physician to help them to treat more people and bring healthcare costs down.
PAs, that's a concept that's been around a little bit for now, and like you said excellently, it's an extension of the doctors, and allows them to focus on more people, I guess you would say. And I believe once you complete this PA course, aren't you going to then become an officer?
No, sir. Actually, that is an option for me. However, the nice thing about the PA program is that I can take those medical skills and roll them right back into my pararescue career field and use those to give back since I'm going to be part-time. And I can practice civilian side as a physician assistant, but
Okay.
the pararescue's focus being medicine, I don't think I could ever give up being a PJ. It's too much fun.
Let's be honest.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Let's be honest. You're an adrenaline junkie, as our We've met a lot of you guys, and you're all built like, you're well built, you're toned, you guys are amazing. Hey, listen, there's always a rivalry between the services, and especially in the news today, SEALs are getting a lot of attention. Finally, somebody's paid some homage to you guys. Inside Combat Rescue is a program that's airing currently, and involves a lot of folks from your unit that you're probably familiar with. What's your take on that? Is that a good representation of what's going on in our PJs?
I think it is. I think that those guys are doing a good job of representing our career field. It's hard because any program that's put on has the liberty of editing and creating essentially almost any tone they want to, but those guys are there doing their job first and thinking about the show second, and that's what's important. I think that the SEALs have been getting a lot of attention, and there's a lot of great SEAL operators out there doing some great work. And I think the bottom line is if we're all just quiet professionals, and we're not necessarily interested in going out and seeking attention. We just want to do our job and come home safe.
Well, it's wonderful to be humble, but you guys deserve some big hurrahs.
No kidding.
And
you're also modest. That's what I love about you. You guys are the best of the best, and modesty is a common suit among you all.
That's right. And share with us some different assignments and/or deployments that you've had, Sergeant.
I've deployed to both Iraq and Afghanistan, and I've done primarily the combat search and rescue mission. I've had some other missions that I've been able to do. It always depends on situations and what's going on, but we get opportunities overseas to go in after anybody that's injured, and we really pride ourselves, not just PJs, but as a whole team, as an air crew. So even the 920th Rescue Wing with the 308th Rescue Squadron, all the squadrons that are involved, it's not just the 308, the 301st, and everybody that's involved is part of that team. Even the maintainers, making sure we stay in the air.
Of course.
We pride ourselves on making sure that we get in there no matter what's going on, and we don't, fortunately for us, we don't have to wait on what's called a rescue there to make sure that we're safe and we can get to the patient and get them treated and get them out. So Iraq and Afghanistan were both prime examples of that, making sure even civilians that happen to be injured or involved in anything that's going on will go in. I've even flown a mission on a military dog that gets all the same respect as a soldier because they're out there jobbing it every day as well. So I've actually flown in missions and evac a military dog and brought them back as well.
How wonderful is it? Could you share with us maybe a particularly harrowing experience you had while deployed?
Sure, yeah. I did one of my last missions in Afghanistan. We were flying into we'll just say a certain valley, and you can see the house lights flickering back and forth as we're flying in because they hear the rotors and they start talking to each other down in the valley. And myself and one of my PJ buddies from the team I was with at the time, we went down on the hoist for a soldier who had fallen off of a rooftop and actually
Ouch.
possibly fractured his back. We didn't get a chance to really follow on, but he was definitely in some pain and had some issues neurologically. So myself and Bear, another PJ, went down the hoist. Because of the dust and dirt, the brownout, we had to actually hoist down from 140 feet.
Holy cow.
Wow.
And the dust brown out from the helicopter rotor wash, or what was all that? Was it?
Yeah, the rotor wash was kicking up so much dust with
Okay.
the brownout that the pilots couldn't see and get references, so they had to be high enough they could get their references and lower us down. So by the time we got to the bottom, we had to communicate via radio just to let them know that we were on the ground at that point. And then so we treated, packaged the patient up, got him ready, and then loaded up the hoist and essentially got him hoisted out. And unfortunately, with that height, he didn't tend to do quite a bit of spinning. So I'm hoisting out with the litter, with the patient in the litter, and start spinning with some night vision goggles on, and it was a long ride, and I was a bit dizzy by the time we got up, but we got the patient out and got him back to some good treatment, and everything came out okay. So.
Well, hoorah! Just
kidding.
another day at the office, huh?
Yeah.
You bet.
Now I want to get into a topic that is kind of a joining on to what JP shared on his song there, Only a Mountain. I want to just kind of make this point though. Just like there are apex predators from great whites in the ocean to alligators in the swamps, you guys, pararescue jumpers, are basically apex warriors. Am I right? Come on. You have all the skills that a regular soldier has multiplied, or they're exponential beyond that.
Well,
Set your modesty aside. Take credit.
That's really what we're going for. We want to be versatile, and we want to be able to represent the Air Force with whoever we attach with, because we attach with other forces, and we work in a joint environment often. And so we want to make sure that not only that we have training, the same training, and training that helps us to keep up and make sure that we are not a hindrance on any mission, but to try to lead from the front and make sure that we are representing the Air Force in the best light, or the Air Force Reserve in my case. And so we have to make sure that we are not only recruiting and training the cream of the crop, but that we represent ourselves in that manner whenever we're working with other forces.
Okay, so let's jump into the topic everybody's tuned in to listen to, and that is your big adventure that's coming up. Tell us about this and how it came about.
Well, this is the USAF 7 Summer Challenge, and essentially what's been going on is there's been some Air Force military members about a decade ago finally decided after some time and going through troubles when losing friends and such overseas that we got to figure out a way for us to deal with this, and everybody was the two guys, the main guys that started it were climbers, and they decided being outdoors is really the place that I feel great, and I feel like I can really get my spirits up, and why not include other Air Force members and encourage other Air Force members to get outdoors and get your heart rate up and really feel like that you have a way to deal with all those things that are going on inside from what you've seen and had to do overseas. So they decided they were going to climb the 7 summits, or the highest point on each continent,
first time a military unit had attempted this, an all-military unit.
And yeah, we are the first all military group to go through and do the 7 summits that we're hopefully going to finish up here soon with Mount Everest. But yeah, so they started doing that, and I just happened to come across the information of them doing it, sitting alert in Iraq, and one of the pilots there told me about his buddy who's doing this, and got in touch with him, and being in PA school and everything was the only reason I was able to even do this, just because deployment and training and work, and
Of course.
got to come first. But
Yeah, and had this team ever selected a reservist to join them on any of these other summits before?
so I will be the first reservist and also the first pararescueman to be involved in any of these climbs.
And aren't you also the oldest on the crew?
I am the oldest.
You're the old man on the crew.
I'm the next guy.
Relatively speaking, I would say.
I like to think I am the most aged and wisest.
Yeah,
I think you
I
said
like
it right
the
the
first
first
one.
Yeah, I think you said it right the first time. So you mentioned before we came on air, you're doing some training here stateside to prepare for this attempt at the summit, which begins, I believe, on April 1st, right?
Yes, yeah, it's April 1st is when we set out from Kathmandu to do our trek in. We're going to fly into Lukla, and then we have a 10-day trek from there into base camp. And I tell you, it's been a challenge preparing between balancing school, my reserve duty, and preparing for this. We've also had to do considerable fundraising and that, but then there's the conditioning involved. And I mean, let's face it, Atlanta doesn't exactly have high peaks to go back. So, I've had to make do with what I had around, and so I've been doing my best to condition through CrossFit, organization CrossFit RX. Been training me out of Atlanta, and then I've been going up and down Stone Mountain there. It's about 1,000 feet of vertical gain with a 35-pound pack on it, just doing yo-yos up and down there as best I can. So.
And now you're out in New Mexico, and you guys are going to be challenging some. You're going to get acclimated to the elevation by climbing some mountains here, right?
Absolutely. We right now I'm sitting at about 10,000 feet, and as soon as I'm done with this interview, we're going to basically throw on our snowshoes. We're going to head up Wheeler Peak, which goes up to about 13,000. So.
All right.
We're gonna try to get into at least some thin air around here, and then later on maybe do some 14ers up in Colorado before we head out for work.
And you did. You spent some time up in Alaska at Elmendorf, which kind of whetted your thirst to mountain climb, right?
Oh, absolutely. The 212 rescue squadron up there at Elmendorf, with a top-notch group of guys up there, and support and the air crews. It's an amazing organization, and they're doing good work, mountain rescue all the time. And in fact, I really feel in comparison to some of those guys up there. They're phenomenal mountaineers, and they're mountain sense is second to none. They're constantly working on Denali and treating guys and pulling them off at pretty high altitudes.
Well, wonderful. Sarge, how can folks learn more about your upcoming adventure, pararescue jumpers in general? And before we get there, though, this That Others May Live Foundation, you guys are trying to raise funds to help do a number of things. Give a website out quickly that folks can check out and learn more.
Absolutely. Well, they can go ahead and Google Air Force Everest, and it'll pop up. The first site's going to be the USAF 7 Summits website, and they can go on there. It's a 501c19, so it's a tax-free donation for anybody who wants to donate to the team, and we give half of that out to That Others May Live Foundation and Special Operations Warrior Foundation. And then on top of that, we also have several other websites. We're going to be blogging through our Facebook page on there, 7 Summits Challenge Facebook page, and we'll keep constant updates even from the mountain real time. And then I'm going to be blogging for my data.com. It's a Salesforce company, and I'm going to be running a blog there as well and updating so people can get more connected and we can reach out to more people.
Awesome. Sarge, we're running out of time here. We're going to have you back, and we want updates as you go along. All the information will be on AVET Project's Facebook page. Again, Staff Sergeant Nicholas Gibson, best of luck to you. Thanks for representing our country so well, and we'll talk to you down the road.
And don't forget, think of that.